Our country loves free speech. We fight for free speech. We fought for free speech, and we know it's in danger when students who are lawfully in the United States are taken off the street and arrested without warrants by masked federal agents in unmarked cars for writing an article or attending a rally that Stephen Miller doesn't like. Free speech is in danger when visitors to our country have their social media accounts screened at the border for any criticism of Donald Trump. Free speech is in danger when To Kill a Mockingbird, The Handmaid's Tale, 1984, and The Kite Runner are banned from our schools and libraries across the country. Now, Mr. Trump and Mr. Farage both claim they're protectors of free speech, but they only want to protect speech they agree with. In the UK, Mr. Farage is openly promoting the abolition of the Human Rights Act of 1998 to be replaced with a British Bill of Rights that limits the right of free speech to British citizens and legally sanctioned residents. He complains that racist threats against immigrants are not protected free speech, while he proposes to strip migrants, tourists, and perhaps even visiting American congresspeople of any free speech rights at all. For a man who fashions himself as some kind of a free speech martyr, Mr. Farage seems most at home with the autocrats and dictators of the world who are crushing freedom on earth.
Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin was on fire during this recent Judiciary Committee hearing featuring far-right UK politician and Putin ally Nigel Farage as the star witness, shutting down Farage's cynical attempt to posture as a free speech warrior while simultaneously limiting free speech rights in the process.
You said that there should not have been a protest against the Gaza war in the UK. And then when it went ahead, the police refused to shut it down. You called them gutless for not shutting it down. Do you regret having opposed that, given that there was no violence there and there were 700,000 people who wanted to express themselves that day?
I have not opposed people standing up and protesting in favor of people living in Gaza at all. There was one particular day, and it was the Sunday nearest November the 11th, which was when we had big memorial services in London, and I think a march being allowed to go ahead on that day would have been a mistake. Any other day, fine.
Oh, I see. Who gets to decide that?
Well, I think actually something that is embedded in the country, something that is absolutely fundamental to vote.
That's why we have a written constitution. You might take that idea back to the UK with you.
Well,
because the freedom of speech applies 365 days a year here under the First Amendment, not 364 or 363, depending on some politicians heckling the government and telling them to shut down free speech.
We have allowed mass pro-Gaza demonstrations in London, weekend after weekend.
No thanks to you. All right, let me change.
This was
let me try another one.
Particularly sensitive day. That's all.
I got you. It was a sensitive day. And I thought that's what the freedom of speech was about. You have a right to engage in speech that other people consider offensive or insensitive. But in any event, you've made yourself clear, Mr. Farage.
364 days a year if they want.
You've made yourself clear to your constituents in Claxton.
Look how easy it was for Raskin to expose this man for the fraud he is. If he's such a defender and proponent of free speech rights, then he should have no problem with any political protest, rally, or anything else from happening at any time within the confines of the law, of course. Posturing as a free speech absolutist is a classic right-wing tactic. What it really means is controlling certain types of speech. It means defending your right to say anything you want, no matter how hateful or dishonest, while simultaneously shutting down the speech of anyone who disagrees with you. For them, free speech is not an unalienable right. It's a political weapon. It's deployed against enemies.
You've banned journalists from your political events that you disagree with, haven't you?
No, in fact, I'm the only political
Really?
leader
At your
in Britain.
convention, you didn't ban journalists and revoke their credentials?
You know, I take the average press conference, I take 25 questions.
No, that wasn't my question. Mr. Farage, we're politicians, so we see what you're doing. I'm asking you a direct question.
Well, thank you. I'm very pleased
I'm asking
you
you a direct question, and I hope you can answer it. Why do you ban journalists who oppose your views from coming to your events? Why did you tell your party why did you tell the local government not to do interviews with your local newspaper?
I am the most open person to any journalist.
Undoubtedly, you're the handsomest man in the world. But I'm asking you a different question, okay? That's not my question. My question for you is, and it's legit, why do you ban journalists that you disagree with from your political events, like from your convention?
I don't.
Okay, and you say you've never done that?
I can't think, if I go back the last 25 years, I can't think of banning anybody. But I mean, maybe somebody else did. But look,
I see. It was somebody else who did it.
I take more questions
All right.
from journalists.
Do you have
and all
any
the other
objections?
leaders added up together.
Okay.
What's truly alarming is how Farage is using the exact same rhetorical tactics that Donald Trump and his MAGA loyalists use. You saw it during the hearing. They deflect, pivot, refuse to answer direct questions that might implicate them later. They perfected the art of dodging accountability by throwing out unrelated talking points, creating a media circus to distract from the truth. This is a very disturbing strategy to see on display, especially in the halls of government, because it signals a complete abandonment of honest, fact-based discourse. It's not about a debate of ideas. It's about a performance designed to confuse and mislead.
In his opening statement, Mr. Farage said, quote, "When the government starts regulating speech, it is rarely those that agree with the government who find themselves in court." And Mr. Farage, I'll ask you the question, is that similar to your concern about suppressing speech that disagrees with the government? Oh, Mr. Farage has left. If this concern about the government regulating speech is because it is rarely those that agree with the government who find themselves in court, then you would think that Mr. Farage and all of our Republican colleagues would be very, very concerned if an administration here in the United States was investigating criminally individuals who made the colossal mistake of speaking out against the president. That would be a clear violation of Mr. Farage's principle. Is that right?
He was talking about the importance of political dissent. And this is a test, Mr. Goldman, I think, of our constitutional patriotism. To what extent are we willing to speak up for people who are the targets of government repression, even if we don't agree with what they're saying?
Raskin's point is a crucial one that needs to be hammered home. Republicans are not standing up for legitimate free speech rights by enabling the Trump administration. They're doing the exact opposite. True free speech requires a vibrant marketplace of ideas, and that means allowing and defending speech that one may disagree with. The progressive movement is actually in favor of free speech because it's not afraid to criticize its own leadership. The movement did it when the Biden administration cracked down on campus protests for Palestine, and it did it when the DNC refused to let a Palestinian speaker on the stage at the 2024 DNC. Free speech means holding everyone accountable, even your own side.
Senator Adam Schiff, who led the first impeachment of Donald Trump, is under investigation by the Department of Justice. New York State Attorney General Letitia James, who filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his business, she is now under investigation. Miles Taylor, who literally did the only thing that he did was write an op-ed and a book criticizing the President of the United States. He is under criminal investigation. Chris Krebs, whose offense, I think, was to say that the 2020 election was the most secure ever, he is under investigation. John Bolton, who has criticized the president, gets his house raided. Lisa Cook, the Fed governor, is now under investigation for mortgage fraud, I guess because she doesn't want to lower rates. The degree to which this government is suppressing speech that simply opposes the president's views should make Mr. Farage and every single one of my Republican colleagues speak out in favor of the First Amendment, and yet we have heard nothing.
The future of free speech in America is at a critical crossroads. One side, you have the forces of authoritarianism, who are using the guise of free speech to promote a radical, hateful agenda while simultaneously working to silence anyone who stands in their way. On the other side, you have, progressives, the movement, fighting for a world where all voices, even the ones we disagree with, can be heard without fear of censorship or retribution. The fight is, it goes to the very core of our democracy.